Franklin Gale. This is my case development number 2. We're going to dive right into case reflection number 1, a habit of activism. A basic overview of this case is Sister Patrice Daly inspires investor criticisms of company. Movement gave steam with various Christian investor organizations. Daly's campaign led to religious controversy. General Electric failed Christian stance caused the major controversy. To give a little bit more overview, Miss Daly was a Christian shareholder in the company she gained a lot of momentum with challenging the company's moral and business practices, which led her to becoming a real leader in the Christian investor world. Her investor strategies really gained steam and led to General Electric failing at one of them, with one of their CEO, when confronting about pollutions in different water systems, used Christianity and used God as a way to escape an answer. To dive right into the case reflection questions, the first question: why will corporations encourage all shareholders to be selectively involved? Why might they discourage such involvement? Do shareholders bear ethical or moral responsibility for the actions of corporations in which they own stock? What communication tools and practices would help activist shareholders be effective? How might they attract media coverage? Evaluate the practice of the correlations described in this case. What advantages and risks are present when an individual joins with other of similar interests? The first answer I came up with is some shareholders may be more inclined in a certain field of knowledge compared to other companies' employees, meaning that you have different investors. Some may be professors, some may be mathematicians, scientists, business majors. You never know what your investors what their main course of study may be. Some may have never went to college. Some may have military training. They may know what's best to protect your company, what's best security. You'll always listen to your investors because they may know something you may not know. To answer the second part of that question, some shareholders' agendas or concerns may create PR nightmares for companies. That answer is going to come up a lot, especially with this case, because shareholders can have different motives. Most shareholders either care about their money or care about their morals. It's usually one of the two. And in this case, a lot of shareholders care about their morals. So a lot of those uncovered agendas inside of a company, or those uncovered cases of interest inside of a company that are on inside or in home, they may be leaked to the public because of unhappy shareholders and unhappy investors. And those will create PR nightmares for companies because they will have to answer for those. The second question: most shareholder opinions are profit-based or moral-based. Like I said in the first question, a lot of shareholders only care about their money or their morals. It's one of the two. Number 3, heavy social media presence in the news media. Organized protests or filibustering during shareholder meetings. Filibustering has really worked a lot in politics when a lot of politicians or senators or state representatives do not want a certain bill, a certain law passed. They will filibuster for hours and hours, so that could work in this scenario. And number 4, to some shareholders, yes, while others focus squarely on the profits. Once again, going back to money or morals. Recommend the course of action. I believe we should host annual stakeholder meetings to hear out any concerns investors may have. You never know what an investor may have, and it'd be better to hear us here rather than the news media or a different social media outlet to hear. Create screening process on potential investors of our company. Making sure that we have the best represent us and making sure we have the best, most aligned with our moral beliefs and our business practices that do bring a few good things to the table, other than financial obligations. In order to maintain stakeholder happiness, complete realistic demands of small-time investors. When I say small-time investors, I mean a person who may own a share or two, who might just own a little bit, just to get a little check out the company every now and then. Make sure we keep them happy, because a lot of those 1 or 2 shares do add up to the 50s, the 60 shares in the company. They can add up over time. We have to make sure that our big investors are happy. We have to make sure those small time investors are just as happy as our big ones. Ropes. Reciprocity. Being able to give stakeholders a more increased role in our company for their financial contributions. Responsibility. Screening our stakeholders, ensure that we only allow the best to represent our company. Reporting. Taking investor feedback to help better our campaigns. And once again, relationship nurturing. Giving stakeholders a bigger role in our company. A lot of stakeholders want to be heard out, and we're going to give them that chance to be heard out. That's our relationship nurture. We're going to do our best to hear them out and hear their concerns, hear their worries, hear their gripes. We may can't fix every problem, but we can fix the ones that are most important to our company and our PR image. Moving on to case reflection number 2, the title of this case, Tunisian government courts U.S. and Europe investment. A brief overview of this case. Justice revolution became a catalyst in Tunisia becoming a democracy. Tunisia begins advertising campaigns to land outside investors in country. The political unrest in the Middle East in 2014 challenged Tunisia's democracy. To give a little bit more on this, Tunisia was a country that was really hard for small-time entrepreneurs. A lot of times they had fines and they had different regulations that if a certain street vendor was caught, they would be fined more than they brought in during the day. They'd be fined $10 when they only bring in 7 in a day. And that really hinders people that have families of 5, families of 10, families of 15 have to take care of and feed. A few case reflection questions. How do Tunisian web communication tools and research options like studies and forums help promote the country? What are some unique advantages to the strategy of calling for businesses to invest in democracy rather than just inviting them to an open business in Tunisia? What are the risks of this campaign? To read my first answer, it is effective to use a global medium to reach out to nearly every person in the world. Internet is the #1 way to reach out to someone from America to China. It's easy. Within a click of a button, you can find out what goes on in China. You can find out the news in America. Music has traveled. Music has phased out. The internet has phased out a lot of ways that we do things. You don't have to go to the store to get music anymore. You can download it on your computer. You don't have to go to the store to get video games or movies. You can get it on the PlayStation. You can get it on laptops, your phone. Another thing, it creates more opportunities for permanent headquarters to be set in country to be used low price, high quality resources. This is the answer to my second question. A lot of companies go outside of the country, such as the U.S., because it's cheaper to go outside the U.S. It's cheaper to export than to import. Because a lot of times resources that the United States does not have, other countries do have. And we could be one of those countries that have a resource that could be needed. Open country, in the third question, open country, the chances of being manipulated by bigger countries like the U.S. or Europe, that means that that means to avoid being turned into a territory, a U.S. territory, a European territory, just to keep that answer short and brief. Our recommended course of action: continue high internet presence in hopes of bringing in outside investors. Do not allow for one country to be sole investor. We don't want to become a U.S. territory, or Europe territory. Ensure that our homegrown corporations still receive a priority. Make sure that they get a reap of the reward we may get from big-time investors. Going into our roles, reciprocity. Help build our citizens' corporation to bigger heights. Responsibility. We're going to ensure that the country can survive without other country interference, making sure that we can thrive on our own. Reporting. Using country news mediums to alert small-time business owners in the country. We're reporting. We're going to use country news mediums to alert small-time business owners in the country. We're going to alert them with what's going on, how we're trying to get big-time investors, and how they could be a part of it and be a part of the process in helping us. And relationship nurturing. We're binding broken relationships by not punishing small-time entrepreneurs, but encouraging them to reach greater heights. We're trying to bring them up because if we grow, they're going to grow with us. And they're going to make the foundation of our country and make sure the foundation of our democracy is strong. And these are my sources. Thank you.